Well, welcome back to Uniquely Us. I am Frank, and this is Frank's Take, where I take a moment and dive into a story that concerns all of us. And this is one of those stories. As we know, the war on food continues. We see that dairy products and meat products are continuously under attack, being demonized, being called that is the reason we are having climate change is because we're eating meats, we're eating, poultry, and we're eating rice, and it's all bad for the environment. So we got to make sure we get rid of this food. And this is coming on the heels of them calling for the reduction of meat based food. They want you to eat this fake meat based food and plant food instead of actual animal food, animals. And because they say this, it's contributing to the climate and how it's changing or whatever. Anyway, what I see is a disaster for humanity is what I see, because many of these products, like rice, for example, is a cheap way to feed so many people, right? There's so many cultures that rice is a integral part of their diet, and it's made up in many of their dishes. It's a component of rice. You go to any country outside of the United States for the most part, and rice is a essential part of their meals. And what these cultists are out there doing now are saying that we have to get rid of rice because it's a danger to the planet, and it's going to cause the planet to explode or whatever whatever they've been saying lately, right? Or burn up. And instead, you're trying to kill off billions of people because you are trying to reduce the food sources that can feed billions of people. It's absolutely disgusting what we see. It reminds me, of course, of the Georgia Guidestones. And maybe there was a reason they blew up the Georgia Guidestones, maybe because it was too overt. They were like, "Oh, yeah, we need to get population down to 500 million. We're talking about getting rid of all this food supply. We're getting rid of this oil and all this other stuff. We may want to go ahead and get rid of this because it's a little on the nose." And that's what's happening here. So this article coming to us from the Gateway Pundit over here says, of course, there's a war on rice, and that's terrible, right? The activists for climate change are now blaming global warming on rice fields. The far left green zealots and globalists want the peasants eating bugs and living in a pod. Rice is to blame for about 10% of the global emissions of methane, a gas that over 2 decades traps about 80 times as much heat as carbon dioxide. Scientists say that the world wants to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Rice cannot be ignored, the report said. Rice, which sets them apart from other crops, has a standing water layer in the field, which means that there's not an exchange of air between the soil and atmosphere. Bonjour O. Sander of the International Rice Research Institute said, so that means you have it in the soil anaerobic conditions, and it means that there are different bacteria active in the soil that you would find in wheat or maize. Under the global methane pledge, Vietnam and several other major rice producers in Asia have vowed to cut emissions by 30% by 2020 and 2023. But the two largest producers, China and India, failed to sign, AFP reported. Red meat is bad, cows are bad, and now rice is bad. They want us to starve. And that's truly what it is. I mean, if you go on the comments of this AFP news agency, you're going to see people saying that is a great way to kill off billions of people by starving them, because they know what they're doing. They have to reduce the population of the world, and many of the leading individuals of that, people like Bill Gates and others, encourage us to reduce the population. They don't want to see reproduction of people, and that's why you can see this displacement of people from other countries being flooded into Western nations, right? It's because they want the land, they want the resources, but they don't want to share any of those things with anybody else. They got to kill off as many people as they can, and that's one great way of doing it. So they continue to demonize you eating meat, poultry, eggs, and milk, and of course now rice. They want you to eat the bugs, they want you to live in a pod, and they want to reduce the population by as much as possible. Anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, you guys can follow me on all my social media, including Odysee, Gab, and Twitter. All linked in the description down below. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a great and wonderful day.